Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
Yep. It's a nice Tuesday morning, surprisingly nice.
It is sunny in Belize City. And of course, that's our report from here. I don't know what's happening in your neck of the woods. If you're in the north, we do hope you are waking up to some sun today, as we have seen the images and the reports of the flooding that they saw over the weekend.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, I think, especially if you watched our newscast last night, you'd have seen some of the images from the north, because as we had reported last week, we were expecting a tropical wave did pass over. We were expecting it. We were expecting lots of showers all over the country, but it seems like the north was hit the hardest, particularly in the Orange Walk district.
Yeah.
Some of the villages like Carmelita experienced lots of flooding, and others there was damage to some infrastructure, some roads, some drains. So of course, lots of communities were affected by the rainfall over the weekend, particularly on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and then we were told that a tropical wave was coming in. I know for us here, and again, we're just giving that Belize City report. Look at that. That's images of the flooding in Orange Walk over the weekend. The positive news for that was that they said the waters receded very quickly. So that's good news for them. But of course, once you get water damage, you still have to deal with that afterwards anyway. But the tropical wave that we were told was passing over, we didn't get too much rain of it here in Belize City. But again, like I said, I know it's very different in the south and oftentimes in the north as well. So we do hope that you're getting some sunshine to dry things up for you today.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, whenever we give our weather updates, especially when there's news of expected rain activity, we always do advise you to please listen into all of the advisories and the warnings, especially if you live in low-lying areas or flood-prone areas, because we know how quickly these situations can change, and you don't want to be in a very dangerous situation with little ways to get out.
Yeah.
So do make sure that you're taking every precaution that you possibly can, because we are in the hurricane season officially. And this type of activity is going to be more and more expected.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest concern, that it's just June and we're already facing all these rains and floods. So it is, of course, a good opportunity for you to consider putting your plans together for the potential of any storm that may be headed our way. You have to be prepared, and that includes putting aside some items, making a plan as to what you're going to do if we come under the threat of a hurricane. And that's hurricane, tropical storm, and we've even seen devastating effects from depressions. So it's just important that we are prepared.
Yep. I was telling Marlene just before the break that actually today is the summer solstice.
Ooh.
And that means that officially it's supposed to be the first day of summer.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that some of
that's why we got sun today.
Exactly right. I was thinking about that too. So it's going to be it's an especially long day. I was trying to confirm whether it is the actual longest day of the year.
It's supposed to be the longest day with sunshine.
With sunlight, yes, exactly. And I was right before we got here, I was looking. They were talking about, because of that, what time the sunset will be in certain parts of the country, and I think the latest one is going to be in Scotland. In some areas of Scotland, the sun isn't going to set until after 10 p.m. So they're definitely going to be enjoying the extended daylight hours.
Yeah.
But right here in Belize, we're expecting it to just be hot like usual.
Well, I mean, we do get extended days, There are times when we come to work in the morning and it's still dark, and then in summer we come and it's already hot, right? So we can't complain. We don't get the 10 o'clock sunset, but we get longer days nonetheless.
Yes.
But summer approaching, of course, with the kids, I was thinking about that. The schools are winding down. Just a reminder, of course, in the north, their classes are still canceled, I think, today as well. And the schools are getting ready to close for summer vacation with the hope, Gavin, that schools return to normal come September. It feels like such a long time coming. I do hope that nothing changes between now and then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that especially the children are the ones looking forward. I shouldn't say the children are the ones looking forward to it most, because I'm sure that some of the parents or most of the parents would also appreciate sort of that return to a more normal schedule.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what is going to happen in the next few months, but of course it's all dependent on the numbers and the effects of what the pandemic are at any given time. We know right now we're seeing some rising numbers in comparison to especially what we've seen over the past few months, and that's pretty much consistent with what's also going on internationally.
Yeah.
There are several countries which are experiencing waves right now, and but of course the important or the most important, because there's always different considerations to balance, but we are looking at the hospitalization and death figures, and they've been more or less stable.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the numbers are rising. So proportionally there will be a little bit of an increase, but we're not seeing
we did get an update yesterday from the Ministry of Health, and they're saying that they expect this particular wave to start calming down very soon, and that's promising news. There was a period there where we were getting quite a few I know, and from your own circle, it's like usually there's one person who's been exposed, and then when you start to hear 4 or 5 people have been exposed or sick with COVID, that we're in the thick of a wave. But I am hearing less people talking about contracting COVID, and the only the positive thing about this particular wave is that the variant was mild, and so people were able to kind of just recover and then return back to normal life.
Yeah, and I was thinking, especially considering the amount of graduation ceremonies and things that have been going on in the past few weeks, might account for some of those figures, but I know that several schools are still taking these figures and the effects into consideration. So we're not still seeing those big traditional graduation ceremonies. I know that for a few that I know of, it's still being staggered in some way, or trying
socially
to accommodate
distanced.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's been happening, of course.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, I do think, as we flashed the chart on the screen, one of the things I know that we have to keep on discussing is the importance of vaccination and getting people vaccinated, because the key thing here is, there is a mild variant right now, but we don't know when and if that can change. And so being able to ensure that the population is protected is the best way for us to be able to finally see this pandemic come to an end. It can't, as long as it's still circulating the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something to always be mindful of. And it's never too much to remind you that we can still practice the recommendations and the guidelines for safety practices, even though they're not mandatory anymore. But especially if you know someone, or you live with somebody, or you yourself are compromised in any way, immunocompromised that is, then keeping your physical distance from people, wearing your mask and and washing your hands frequently, all of the things which we've been reciting from the beginning of the pandemic still apply.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, but we got to keep things moving this morning. We got a lot to discuss, but it's time for us to give you your motivation to get your day started right. And that means it's time for the eye opener. And the eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. We can learn to locate the seed of peace inside ourselves in order to have a reliable source of serenity. In our noisy world, we often find ourselves longing for peace and searching to find it somewhere else. While it's true that there are places we can visit where we can experience peace, such as sacred sites or buildings, we do not need to wait until we get to one of these places to feel at peace. Instead, we can learn to locate the seed of peace inside ourselves and cultivate it so that it grows into a reliable source of serenity that we can always access no matter where we are. Ideally, you could schedule time each day to meditate on peace and experience what it feels like to be calm and serene. It takes practice to learn how to let go of your worries, so give yourself some time. Inhale deeply and feel your worries dissolve with every exhale. Remind yourself that soon enough, you will be able to take care of everything you need to. But right now, you are taking a break. As the clutter of your thoughts and concerns clear away, you will start to feel more serene. Allow yourself to move deeper into this state with each inhale. Realize that you have the power to free yourself from anxiety simply by deciding to do so. The more you practice feeling peaceful, the easier it will be for you to feel at peace.
Well, I like that eye opener. And yeah, exactly.
I feel like taking a deep breath with that one, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you know, I often talk here about mindfulness and what I try to practice in my own life. And I think this definitely does, this is something that I try to put into practice, and I find that it really does work. Especially, and you know when you really notice it is when you don't for a while, and then you think, and you find yourself in a stressful situation or something, and then I try to remind myself, like, you know, try to take a breath, try to even put aside maybe 5 minutes or even less. It can be even as short as 1 minute, just so that you could find that sort of peace within yourself, and you find that you automatically feel better once you just try to take that moment, and you realize that, you know, everything that, you know, is going on in your mind or around you isn't, you know, it's not as overwhelming once you get to that, once you find that place of, or you know, that center.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I think people often hear things like taking deep breaths and are like, yeah, whatever. And I use this example all the time. Whenever you're in a situation where you need to collect yourself, what's the first thing you do? You take a deep breath. You have that big, heavy sigh. You're like, okay, let's do this. Because it helps us to be able to regulate ourselves. I've learned through many of the conversations we've had right here on the show with people who lead meditation, with people who talk about mental health, just how much you're focusing on your breath and taking a moment to take some deep breaths can help, and it does. I love how it talks about the noisy world. Yeah. When you're focusing on just breathing in and breathing out, all of a sudden all that stuff goes, you know, quiet. Maybe not completely quiet. Sometimes it goes to a whisper, but it at least gives you the opportunity to just center yourself to be able to do what you have to do next.
For sure. And I think that if you do take that time, you realize that if you listen to your body and you try to really monitor how you're feeling, you know, then it can make you, it puts you in a better position to actually do whatever it is that you need to do, or what might be worrying you. I often find that, you know, when you're stressed out, it also manifests physically, and so that also affects how you approach things, so that if you make sure that you just physically feel okay, then it makes you mentally feel better as well.
Absolutely. So that's our tip for today. That's our eye opener. If you find yourself in a situation, we really do encourage you, take a moment, pause, take some deep breaths, and see how you feel after, right?
Absolutely.
But we're going to shift gears now to find out about our weather. And we have Angela Guy on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Catherine Cumberbatch.
It's Catherine Cumberbatch. How are you?
I am doing okay, Marlene and Garvin. No problem. I'm okay.
So, Catherine, we're talking about how we're seeing sunshine here in Belize City, but I'm being very cautious because I don't know if that's the situation across the country. So, what's happening with the weather?
Okay. Well, during our situation, you know, we had the area low pressure, and then we had a tropical wave. We still have some relatively moisture still lingering over the country. The tropical wave already crossed us, and that is to the west of the country. And what that relatively moist moist condition will allow us to see sunny skies with some cloudy spells, and a few showers and isolated thunderstorms will develop mainly along coastal areas this morning. Right now, they're aware of the shower activities offshore, but we expect a few of them to come in along the coast sometimes during the day, and then they move inland and dissipate out.
Okay.
So that is what we basically have. So we are more going on the drier trend.
Okay.
The weather is improving. And with that, we have not only a flood watch for the entire country of Belize, because our neighbors still are experiencing some wet conditions, and due to topographic and the flow of the rivers and things, you could still see some areas getting flooded. So we still have a flood watch for the country of Belize.
Okay.
And as I said, our high temperatures today, we expect 86 along the coast, 89 inland, and 82 over the mountains. So
okay.
the general situation is that our weather is getting much better. It's becoming less moist than over the weekend and yesterday.
That's good to know.
Pardon?
I said that's good to know.
Yes, that's right. And the winds will be coming out of the east at 10 to 20 knots. Our sea state is moderate to rough, so we still have a small caution remains in effect for the gusty winds and locally rough seas at times, no? And the outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is so partly cloudy skies, with a few showers or isolated thunderstorms developing mainly over the southern part of the country. Along southern coastal areas, San Cruz and Puerto Gorda, we expect this activity. The rest of the country will be generally isolated.
All right.
And in tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours for the Atlantic Basin. So that's basically what we have for you guys this morning.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that update.
You're welcome, Marlene and Gavin. Have a great day, guys, and stay safe.
You too. Okay.
Bye.
All right, and there you have it. Some good news. We did say that the weather is slightly improving.
Yeah.
But of course, we still want to make sure that if you are living in a low-lying or flood-prone area, that you do take precaution, because a flood warning is still in effect, particularly in the north.
And definitely you want to pay attention to those gusty winds if you're headed out to sea. There is a small craft caution in effect, and so if you're heading out to sea, please be careful, as the gusty winds are expected to continue.
Yes, and one of the important things which Catherine did mention is that even though weather is sort of improving here, in our surrounding countries, they're still experiencing heavy rainfall, and that of course does affect. Particularly if you live near the border, we do share lots of rivers and borders, so that when there's increased activities up in the hills, for instance in Guatemala or parts of Mexico, the runoff effects does reach us eventually. So you still, we're not 100% in the clear.
Yes. No, I'm trying to think of what's it called. We did a conversation about flood forecast. I think it's fluvial flooding. Yes. I may be wrong, but do you remember that from your science class?
From
but it's where it runs down. Yeah. Okay. Great. I remember that one. All right, we got to get moving into our show for today.
Yes, and we've got lots of interesting conversations lined up. And in our first segment, we are going to be talking about an initiative with the UN, in which Belize received a lot of donated medical equipment, and we are going to be speaking with representatives, with a representative from the UN to speak all about how we're going to be getting all the details of that in our first conversation.
All right, and we've been talking about school coming to an end, and we know this is a really intensive time for families who are trying to get scholarships for their children to continue their education. We're going to be joined by representatives of Digi to talk about their scholarship program, who can apply, how to apply. We'll get all those details in the second part of the show.
And in our final segment, we are going to continue highlighting some of our nation's top achievers. And we are going to be speaking with the top performers from Sacred Heart College. And that's going to be our final conversation before I give you a rundown of what has been trending, because it is Tuesday. So we have Trending Talks Tuesdays, and that is our show for this morning.
All right, so that's what we have in store. We're going to go ahead and take that first break, and we'll be back in a few. Stay tuned.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
My name is Wilmer De La Rosa from Santa Elena Town. I am currently a student at Cayo, set for employment training. Enrolled in the electrical installation program. In late July 2021, I got a confirmation that I was a successful applicant and would be granted a scholarship from Social Security Board. It was one of the proudest moments for me. I felt very excited to start this new path in my life. So far on my journey as a Social Security Board scholar, my vocational technical scholarship has assisted me in achieving my life goals in so many ways. For one, it has renewed sense of purpose, another chance at professional development, and a start at a new career. This opportunity has paved the way for me to excel in life as an individual and as a member of society. Great things are coming after I graduate from SET. I can promise you that. Applying for a vocational technical scholarship through the Social Security Board is simple and easy. I would advise young people in need to apply. It is possible to create a fulfilling and fruitful life with a Social Security scholarship. Believe in yourself and your abilities and skills. I always say the key is to always keep an open mind and let your determination be your motivation.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
And we're back. And if you're joining us right now, we're getting our first conversation started for this morning. And as we mentioned before the break, we're talking about an exciting initiative in which the country was donated medical equipment. And that initiative started in cooperation with the United Nations Office for Project Services, as well as the government of Japan and the Ministry of Health in Belize. Joining us for this morning's conversation, we have Alejandro Rossi, who is the Director for Multi-Country for the Caribbean and for Costa Rica and Panama with the United Nations Office for Project Services. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for joining us. This is a very exciting initiative and one for which we're very grateful. Perhaps we can start by talking a little bit about what UNOPS is and their role in this project.
Well, UNOPS is basically the operational arm of the United Nations. We normally are very focused on mobilization of resources, and we have a mandate related with infrastructure projects, with procurement, and with project management. So in this regard, well, we have been created in 1995, working at the very beginning for the UN agencies and then for the governments. So in these projects we have been asked by the government of Japan to be the implementing agency to channel this generous donation provided by the government of Japan in order to be able to procure medical equipment in the context of the challenging COVID-19 crisis. So our task was to agree with the government of Belize, in this case, the technical specifications, because it's really on-demand technical specifications, and after that to procure the equipment, and finally being able to deliver such equipment in some 18 hospitals and medical centers countrywide.
The project started a few years ago, pre-pandemic, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. So it was very challenging because, as we all know, the prices were going up and down permanently. It was very difficult to know what was the price, a fair price. So the idea is that an UN agency with a robust procurement power can get some, I would say, fairness in the way of setting the prices, and also the timing for the delivery, which is also of the essence in the middle of the pandemic. So that was our role, and we have been successful, I would say, because at the end of the day we have obtained some 10% of savings, and those savings have been reverted to the countries in terms of additional items to be procured.
Now, the donation, I think it's over 800,000 US dollars in total.
In the case of Belize.
In the case of Belize, yes. How did you decide what equipment was necessary? Was it the Ministry of Health and the government of Belize that decided what was necessary?
Of course, it was that way because basically the Ministry of Health is the ones who knows where and what is necessary for the time being. And so the idea is to have a technical team on behalf of UNOPS that normally interacted with the team of Belize and basically the Ministry of Health in order to understand what was necessary, and from that point on try to understand in the market what was available and the timings and the prices, etc. And all of this was finally agreed in order to proceed as fast as possible with the procurement process.
Yeah. I can imagine the challenges in being able to acquire medical equipment in the pandemic. There were shortages and if you consider shipping challenges as well. How much did that delay the project itself?
Well, the project overall has had a delay of about 4 months.
Okay.
I would say that in the middle of the pandemic, it was not a great delay because those problems were related with time of delivery, timing for delivery regarding the factories that were having they were struggling to deliver. Also the freights, which were very, very challenging. And finally, the ability to deliver countrywide. So I would say this is a 4 months overall, the program, which is covering, in the case of the Caribbean, 4 countries, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Tobago, and Belize. So I think it was a good performance overall.
Yeah.
And we're seeing some images on the screen of some of the equipment that was donated. So, like speaking of the scope of the project, what type of equipment and stuff did the country receive?
Well, there is a number of items, what we call the medical equipment. Some 182 pieces were delivered in the case of Belize. And I would say perhaps the more notable equipment is specifically the Land Cruisers ambulances, which are so much needed in order to being able to transfer people from the rural areas to the central hospital of referrals, which is so important. Plus blood analyzers, mobile X-rays. We are also talking about the mobile laboratories for providing blood tests, oximeters. So all what you are normally familiar regarding assisting people affected by COVID-19, this has been provided by the project. And most of those equipment has been mobile equipment in order to facilitate access to different hospitals, different peoples, expanding as much as possible.
And that's a core element of the project. It's being able to allow access for healthcare any part of the country. Belize has rural communities that can take hours to reach at times. You know, how much was that a component in the type of equipment? When I look at the Land Cruisers, they look like they can go into our villages. But how much was the type of equipment that you purchased was looking with the foresight of being able to access rural communities?
Well, I would say that all of that equipment was foreseen from the very beginning, thinking in the peoples, in the most vulnerable people, I would say. So for this reason, I would say that almost, well, we have beds that are not mobile themselves, but out of the beds and some specific equipment, we have thought from the very beginning in mobile equipment to be able to reach the most vulnerable people countrywide. And this was a teamwork between the Ministry of Health and UNOPS, because, and I would say also a teamwork with the government of Japan, because they were looking to have, I would say, the broader outreach as possible of this equipment. For this purpose, they asked us to maximize as much as possible the hospitals and medical centers that were going to be benefited by the program. And we did it so because speaking about 18 medical centers and hospitals, it's a nice figure. Yeah. And so it is the training program that is normally associated with that equipment. We not only are in charge of procuring the equipment, but also to providing the training for those teams that need some kind of additional skills to appropriately operate that equipment as well.
So what are the trainings that you're going to do?
The trainings are very much associated with each of the equipment we have procured. For instance, if you have an X-ray facility, you need to be sure that the technicians are very familiar with that technology. Yeah. In many cases, in the case of Belize, I would say there is a very good team, very talented team, so they are familiar with the equipment. In some other case, they should need some kind of upgrade in their training in order to be fully familiar. But for instance, I've been last week in Trinidad and Tobago, and I've seen in the hospitals already operating the equipment, and it's been the case as well in the case of Belize, because the Ministry of Health has prepared like a tracking system to have an online control of where is the equipment, how it's being used, and if there is any remaining need of training to be addressed.
Yeah. Now you had mentioned to us that not only were you able to secure the equipment, but there were some savings that you had as well, which allowed for additional equipment to be procured.
That's right, and that's good news, because when imagine that normally what normally happens in the middle of the pandemics is to get the price going up. So normally what you are going to have, they're not savings, but you have to put additional resources in order to buy the same equipment. In this case, we have used, as I mentioned, the power of purchasing of the UN. We have what we call the global marketplace. So it is a place where we have already the providers and we can set the condition for more cost-efficient decisions. And in that way, we have been able to reach those savings. But immediately after reaching those savings, we were able to revert them to the government, in this case to the government of Belize, and allowing them to select additional items to be purchased. And so it was done. So at the very beginning, we purchased some 160 items, and nowadays we have purchased finally 182 medical equipment in order to be delivered to the 18 hospitals.
And the equipment itself is also, we were mentioning, it's new equipment as well. So the quality was also a big factor in the implementation of the project as well, correct?
Yes, you are very right. And this is a very good question because, once again, in the middle of the pandemic, it's like a Persian market where everyone wants to sell what they like. And as countries were such in the middle of the emergency, they have not the power to decide what to take and what not to take. They finally said, okay, we want everything. But at UN, we need to be very careful with the quality of the equipment to be purchased. And therefore, we have a very, I would say, very strict technical specifications. And those was very of the essence of the procurement process. So we applied UN rules and regulations to proceed with the bidding process and receiving the offers and finally being able to sign the contracts with the different companies. And they are companies of all around the world. I would say from Germany to India, from China to Latin America, different companies were in the middle of the competition and were able to provide sound equipment. But we need to secure the quality. That's of the essence, because this is also part of the human rights approach. There have to be a really equal right to access that quality equipment for every country, and Belize is not the exception.
And it's I imagine, a part of the reason why the government of Japan chose UNOPS as the implementer for the project.
Well, I think there is an interesting background of common cooperation between the government of Japan and UNOPS. In this case, as we have provided services in some 15 countries worldwide, 9 of those countries were located in Latin America and the Caribbean, and 4 of those countries were right in the Caribbean. So I think that's part of the reason why the government of Japan selected UNOPS as their partner of choice, basically because we have in place the procurement capacity. We also have in place the rules and regulations, plus we have the human rights approach as a member of the UN. So we were very much focused on securing that equipment of maximum quality, I should say, for the benefit of the people of Belize.
Let's talk a bit about some of the other work that you're doing in the region. You speak very much about the projects in the Caribbean and in Latin America. What's some of the other work that's ongoing?
Well, perhaps I would like to mention a very interesting and I would say unique experience in the case of Mexico. We are procuring for Mexico the unprecedented figure of $6 billion of medicines for the people in need. So, and I would say it's unique even in the context of the UN. We have never had such a big program because that was part of the President of Mexico decision of put people first and try to secure fair prices of medicines for the most vulnerable people. So we are just in the middle of that program. It's a very challenging one, and we have as well, not so big one, but challenging programs as well in the same sector in the case of Guatemala and Honduras. So these are part of our challenging programs in the health sector so far. Additionally, we're working with infrastructure projects, especially in countries as Costa Rica, where we are providing roads, bridges, building different facilities. And so the idea is to have the power of the UN to secure transparency on the first place, efficiency at the time of using the resources, and finally securing the final objective, which is to have there the public works in a timely manner with standards of quality.
Yeah.
So this is basically what we are doing, but we are, I would say, from 2020 and onwards, we have focused so much on the health sector because it's very well aligned with the 2030 Agenda Objective number 3, which is related with health and well-being.
Yes. Now, how has the current economic climate changed or affected your procurement practices? We know that it's not just shortages, there are challenges all around in being able to secure, whether it's medication, whether it is looking at some of the very essential materials in your infrastructure work. How has that affected the work?
Well, it is for sure a constraint we are dealing with in terms of securing not only the times of for delivery. We have here the hurricanes seasons, which are very challenging, and we have started to work in emergency projects. For instance, in the case of Panama, we have provided a facility for the Red Cross in order to have a center to deliver goods in the case of emergency. So this is a unique hub.
Like a distribution site?
It's a distribution site which is of the essence to address emergency region-wide, not only all kinds of emergencies, I would say, not only climate emergencies, but disasters emergencies as well, which are, as we can see, and the specific technical organisms of the UN are mentioning permanently, are growing events. So we will see in the future more emergencies, more disasters, more challenges in terms of climate change. So we need to be prepared. And I would say there are different ways to be prepared for these emergencies. One thing is to have the right infrastructure. We can see here in Belize City the challenges of not having the right infrastructure. And I would see there are big challenges, and I think the country is working for accessing the right financing. I would say green financing for that. But also it is a matter of solidarity. We are in the middle of a global crisis in many aspects, and so we cannot provide responses from the solitude of each country. We rather need to find very common ways to address those challenges, and the case of COVID is a perfect example of what we can achieve when working together, but also it is an example of the difficulties we experience when we don't work together. Because at the very beginning of the pandemic, we were all running alone, just trying to find solutions by ourselves in the different countries. Perhaps I sometimes said it was like a return to feudalism, because every country was trying to preserve itself from what's going on. And in a second stage, we found that developing the vaccines, having a mechanism as the UN COVAX mechanism to secure vaccines to everyone, working in this kind of solidarity solutions like the case of Japan with Belize, is the right way to address that, because as the Secretary General have said, the countries alone cannot find the solutions. This is the opportunity, and it's also the need to find common solutions for the global problems, which are global common problems and not global isolated problems.
And what was the collaboration, or in general, I suppose, not just for this project, but the collaboration with UNOPS and the government of Belize, and perhaps the ministries of health that have been that was instrumental in implementing this project? What is the working relationship like that you find so far?
Well, in this mission, I have not yet had the chance to join with other entities of the government of Belize. I plan to visit Belmopan tomorrow, and therefore I will have a look to the opportunities to cooperate. In the past, we have provided some help to the Marion Jones Sports Center in order to provide some aid with the government of Mexico for the for building
the Mexican
the Mexican sport facility. Yes. So was an interesting project, but we are looking for even more strategic projects in terms of providing, I would say, technical strategic assessment, and I will provide some examples. In the case of St. Lucia, we have provided an integrated infrastructure evidence-based assessment in order to think first to the procurement and the bidding of the different infrastructure projects. So try to have in the same in a same analysis the climate constraints, the social constraints, and then the financial constraints, and from that point on try to provide a realistic planning of what can be done in terms of infrastructure. And we did it so in Curaçao as well. So this might be also an opportunity for Belize.
I mean, it seems like a natural way of doing things, almost a risk assessment before implementation. But it's not always possible when time is not on your side.
Yes, and that's I would say it's a constraint of all of Latin America and the Caribbean. Yeah. There are a number of reasons. We have governments that last 4-6 years, sometimes even less. So it's a very short window of time to provide the challenges that are expected by the community. On the other side, the infrastructure projects are always long-term. We are talking about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So that it seems like eternity for the demands that we can find in the communities. So we need to prioritize. Yeah. On the one side, there are immediate needs that need to be addressed immediately. And yes, it is what it is. But on the other side, you cannot avoid to think strategically in terms of trying to anticipate what is going to happen. When I am visiting here the shoreline of Belize, I can imagine in the near future we will have the water there. We have already there the water. So we need to react very fastly. Otherwise, we're going to start to lose land and to lose people, and this is not acceptable with a human rights approach.
All right. So you say the next portion of your visit will be meeting with different ministries?
Yes, we will be having conversations in terms of climate and energy in order to understand which opportunities might be there. And of course, we are also in conversation with our UN colleagues at the UN country team. You know that UNOPS has not a presence here in Belize, but yes, they have another kind of entities, UN entities in the country, like PAHO, like UNICEF, like UNDP, etc. So we are, of course, very keen to work with them for the benefit of people of Belize.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in to tell us about the involvement of UNOPS in this particular project. And I know that the equipment that, well, we can be sure now that the equipment that's been procured has gone through all due diligence necessary. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you both for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and sharing this good news with the people of Belize.
All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, if you're still looking for scholarship opportunities, we'll be joined by representatives of Digi to tell us about what they have available. So please stay tuned.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
I'm on my way to Belize, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Belize. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Belize, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Belize, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, hey, quality and savings. Belize, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
You want a mobile service provider that allows you to stay connected with fast, reliable LTE coverage anytime, anywhere. Whether it's just to catch up with family, to share that experience with your one special friend, or to manage your small business. Whatever's your thing, you deserve to have the best mobile experience. Now you can do even more while on the go with the increased anytime data allowance in Digi's mobile postpaid plans. You now enjoy 8 gigs of anytime data starting at only $55 monthly. Or share up to 120 gigs of anytime data with up to 6 of your closest friends. That's more LTE data for you to enjoy during the day, nights, and weekends. No restrictions. So keep your gigs up with more data plus unlimited talk and text in all Digi postpaid plans. Visit a Digi store near you to sign up today. All you need is a valid ID and proof of address. It's time to get on Belize's fastest mobile 4G LTE advanced network. Visit livedigi.com to find out more, or hit us up on WhatsApp or Facebook. Digi, our national telecom.
It's time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase increase traffic to your website and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And we're back, and as we said, we know that school is coming to an end very soon, but there are families out there who are still looking for some help to be able to get their children into high school. And so we're going to be talking about the scholarship opportunities available through Digi, and we have two of their representatives with us. We have Amaris Leal, who is their communications rep, and Ingrid Juarez, who is their senior communications representative. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
And thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Well, this morning, like you mentioned, Marlene, we're going to be talking about Digi's scholarship program. And this program began as early as 1991. And to date, we've had over 700 plus students who've successfully completed the program. So these students have graduated from Fort Farm. These students are now in different professions throughout the country, and we're very proud of them. We're very excited to have been part of their educational journey. And this year, again, we are recruiting 25 new students to join our scholarship program. So our applications were made available as early as in May, and they're still currently open to students who have graduated this year from Standard 6 and are moving on to high school are able to apply to get a fully funded scholarship. So we cover tuition and we cover books to any high school of their choice. So they're able to go in, complete the application form, and the forms are available either at our Digi stores, at any of our Digi stores countrywide, or it's also available online.
Yeah. So talking about the application process, is it one that they have to already be accepted to the high school?
Well, it would be preferable, but and more than likely they would have already been accepted.
Yeah.
But if they haven't applied as yet, maybe they weren't certain that, you know what, they would be going to high school, maybe because of financial constraints. They're still able to apply. And with Digi, if the student, if the fees are not covered as yet, we cover those fees. If the parents have already covered the fees, maybe you know you need to put down a $200 down payment, then we reimburse that to the parents as well. So it's not like they're going to be taking on that cost on their own. Whatever was paid, the receipts are shared with us once a student is accepted on the program, and those funds are reimbursed once it's towards books or tuition.
Okay.
And speaking of who's eligible, is it people just entering high school, or does it also apply to people who may be in first form going to second or something?
So we have our criteria, and there are four main elements, right? One, we're asking that the applicants are Belizeans or children of Belizean nationals living in Belize for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So we have that. We also ask that students have a GPA of 80% or higher for standard 4, 5, and 6. We also ask that they are accepted at a secondary institution, and that it be the first time, because our scholarship program is a 4-year program, so we ask that they'll be going to first firm for the first time, right? And then the last one is that we're trying to reach those who actually need it the most. And so we have this threshold in place where we ask that parents have an annual income salary not exceeding $20,000. You know, so those are our criteria. And then when it comes to the documents that they have to submit, well, of course, the completed application form. We ask for copies of the report cards for standard 4, 5, and 6. We know that some might not have for the 3 terms for standard 6, so we accept whatever they have, you know, 4, 5, and let's say first and second term of standard 6. Also, we ask a letter from the employer of the parent or legal guardian just to confirm that their annual salary does not exceed the $20,000, right? And also a copy of their birth certificate, the applicant's birth certificate.
Okay. Now, how many applications do you normally get in your scholarship cycle?
Normally for the recruitment for the year, we would get over 300 plus.
Wow.
During COVID times, it was reduced a bit because, you know, the disbursement of the applications would have been more digital than in hard copy. So we got around 200 more or less. And that is kind of the reason why we're extending it. We want to give those students who may not have seen or who may not have heard about the program as yet the opportunity to do so. So our deadline for this year is June 30th, and we've just extended it.
Yeah.
So those students who still haven't sent in their application are able to do so still.
Yeah, so they have an extra week to be able to get that in.
Yeah.
How do you go through that selection process from 300?
Well, firstly, we would definitely, because like we mentioned, the hard copies are also available at all our Digi offices. Yeah. So those would be sent over to Regent Street, where we are located. We go through them manually to see that the packages are completed, which ones are completed are stacked as completed, which ones are not completed are stacked as incomplete.
Yeah.
So for instance, if we've already started to review some of the applications, and if some of the students had submitted applications that were not complete, by the end of this week, we'll be giving them a call, we'll be sending them an email if they have their phone numbers or their email address listed, asking them to please complete the package, because we want everybody to have a fair opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're not able to go through them ahead of time. So they're able to send those completed, whatever was missing, whatever documents were missing, they're able to send us those. Mm-hmm. And after we've completed that phase where we have the incomplete and the completed, then we have a selection committee, a scholarship committee,
yeah,
who reviews all the completed packages. So we would have sessions where we meet 5 to 6 individuals, and we all go through the completed ones, and then that's how we get our shortlisted set.
Yeah.
So once they fit into the criteria, like Amaris mentioned, the 80% or above, their financial need, and those different items, then they're selected to be interviewed. And usually we have around 75 to 100 interviewees.
Wow.
So it's a full week of interviews.
Okay.
And then what we do, because
the children alone or children and their parents?
Children and their parents, because we know some students might be a little bit shy.
Yeah, at Standard 6.
Yeah, so we would have both the students and the parents there, or if they have a guardian is able to go along with them. And then for students who are not here in Belize City, they are not required to travel to Belize City. Mm-hmm. So we do like a digital interview. We do it via Teams. Mm-hmm. And we'd ask them to visit our Digi store nearest to them. So if you're in Corozal, you'd visit the Corozal store or the San Pedro store. And we have our reps who are very, very accommodating, and they help us in the process where they allowed or they enable the students to go to the office and do the
and set them up for the
virtual interviews.
Okay. So talking to 75 to 100 children and parents who clearly have a need because they've met all the criteria and the grades, you know, how do you whittle it down from there? It's tough when there's so many people that need it.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, and that is why we have an entire committee. So it's not single-handedly, it's not one person doing the selection. Yeah. It's between 5 to 6 different members from throughout the company. Mm-hmm. So we'd have those individuals from our finance team, from audit, from accounts, we have our marketing reps, we have our sales reps, we have different reps who are able to be a part of the committee and who help us in that process, because like you rightfully mentioned, it's pretty tough to dwindle it down to just 25 students.
Yeah.
And what do you find usually makes a difference in an application?
In the application, the students, because we know that the applicants are people who are definitely in need of scholarships, the students would have different stories, descriptions, aspirations, and that stands out to us. We have those students who are excellent, and we have a lot of those who apply, who have excellent grades, who have excellent demeanor. But it's not just about that, it's also about the way they're confident, it's about their certainty in certain things. And when they go into the interviews, you have those really strong interviewees who stand out.
Yeah.
And we know that we have other institutions who also offer scholarships. Mm-hmm. So we'd ask if these students have already received scholarships. And sometimes they say yes, they have already received from other institutions, and they would be going with these institutions. Mm-hmm. So that kind of helps us to take off a couple people from the list.
Okay.
But we have other students who are pretty shy, who are very, very intelligent. Yeah. And we have to see beyond those things, because anybody would be shy to be sitting in front of a panel of 6 people, 6 strangers.
Adults, yeah.
Yeah, adults at that age. So it's number of things that makes a difference for a student.
And tell us about your experience with the past scholarship recipients. Do you all maintain a relationship with them?
Well, Amaris is pretty new, so this is where I've been behind the program for a while. And yes, we do have students who we maintain that relationship with. We have students in Belize City, in Corozal, in different areas. And because of COVID, again, some things have changed, but in the past, Digi has been invited to these graduations where we go as a +1 to the students. And we would attend, and it does make a difference because we're really, really proud of these students, and majority of our students are honor students, so they get awarded the day of their graduation as well.
Yeah. Do they have to maintain a certain GPA to keep the scholarship?
We ask that they maintain a 3.0 throughout or 80 or above as well.
Okay. Now, looking at the tremendous amount of applications you expect to get, do you also ensure that it's distributed among the different districts, that people in Stan Creek have as much of a chance as people in Belize City, for example?
Yeah, we do. Annually, we're required to provide updates on the program. So we would have those areas who stand out. Belize City, like you mentioned, usually has a high number of applicants. But we've also maintained that we want to get students from throughout the country. So we'd look at students from San Pedro, and they are a part of Belize, but they're still in a different category because they're outside of Belize City. We look at students in Belmopan, we look at students right now the rate in Toledo and Stan Creek is a little bit higher than the number of students we have in Corozal. So that's really good, and we encourage students, like we're doing targeted campaigns to these different areas where we don't have that much applications coming in from. And this week will be our week where we're pushing those campaigns in those different areas.
Okay, nice. Now, looking at the scholarship itself, you said it offers tuition and fees. So parents still have some costs to cover, like uniform and other things.
Yeah, parents do have some additional costs that they need to cover, and these are things that we at one point used to cover, or we used to assist with. We didn't cover it completely, but because of the pandemic, again, some things had to be changed. Budgets were cut, different things were, it was a little bit different. And we're looking, this year, we're tasked with reassessing the program and seeing what can be implemented, what can be changed, how can things come back a little bit different, a little bit normal to what it used to be, or see how we can improve the program on a whole.
And you spoke a bit about the relationship with the past scholarships, but people who are currently in the program as well, do you also, apart from just looking at the grades, do you also have a sort of relationship with those students and their families as well?
Some of the students we do have that relationship with. Last night I was having a conversation with one of the parents of a student on the program, and we have had that relationship with other students as well. But as you know, students are growing up and they're getting a little bit out of that very, very, very sweet stage. They're going into that adolescent stage, so it's a little bit different when it comes to that. But we have had relationships with past students.
Yeah. Tell us about one of your shining stars. I'm sure you have some exemplary students who've really excelled over the years.
Yeah, we had this one student, and I think it was around 2 years ago, right before COVID, where he was our guest speaker, and he did exceptionally well. Like, he maintained a 4.0 throughout high school, and we even went as far as we were engaging him to be a part of our internship program for the summer, and we're pretty sure and we're confident that he excelled, and he went on to do more with himself. So he was definitely one of our shining stars, and he stood out to everybody because initially he would have seemed as this very shy student, but when he spoke at that podium, when he spoke at that ceremony to the other students, you could see the pride in him, you could see how accomplished he felt, and that was really, really, really good.
All right, so you're looking at 25 scholarships, right? There's hard copy available. Can people also do it electronically?
Yes, we have it available on our website at livedigi.com. They can also send us an email to prdept@livedigi.com if they want a copy of the application form, which is available electronically, or as Ingrid mentioned, they can visit any of our 13 Digi stores countrywide, and our customer service reps will be happy to help them if they have any questions about the application itself. They will receive the assistance that they require.
Yeah. And how long would it be before they find out if they've been shortlisted?
Well, because the program, the extension has been pushed to June 30th, we will be reviewing the applications early July, and then those students who are not shortlisted or who are not included for interviews would already be made aware in July, and then those who are shortlisted for interviews and so would be more towards the end of July.
All right, I know there's some parents watching who really need it. Tell us just a little bit of a secret just in how kids can help their application form stand out.
Okay, so for those students who are applying, there is a portion or there's a section at the end of our application forms where they're able to write us a little summary or tell us a little bit more details, because the application form is very straightforward. It asks for your name, it asks for your different information, but at the end it gives you the opportunity to write us, tell us what makes you different, what makes you stand apart from those students. Or we've had students, you know, who that space at the back isn't enough, so they go ahead and they write on a whole different folder sheet and they attach it to the application form and they send it to us, and that kind of shows us that nothing is going to stop me. I'm going to let you know who I am besides just giving you my information.
Okay. So take the opportunity to share the story.
Share the story with us. We want to know more about you.
Yeah. All right. So once again, the application forms are available physically in the stores, and people can go ahead and pick them up, fill them out, and bring them back.
Yeah.
And the deadline is June 30th.
And they could send us the completed applications also via email to prdpt@livedigi.com, or they could drop them off at any of our 13 stores.
Okay. All right. And 25 students are going to be benefiting with a 4-year scholarship to a school of their choice. Tuition and fees included.
Yeah.
All right. So ladies, anything else that's happening with Digi that we need to know about?
Well, yeah, Marlene, as you know, we're always giving back to our communities. And last week, we handed over a $5,000 check to the Belize Red Cross Society. Am I correct, Amaris?
Yes.
And this is aimed towards helping them to achieve their grand total for acquiring their new headquarters.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
She's excited to tell us more.
Then earlier this month, we also had our DigiNet launch in Armenia, and we had the opportunity to now add the Armenia Government School as part of Digi's free Internet for Schools program. So that is something good. You know, Armenia has 2,000 residents. The school population is about 500 students, and so we're happy that we're able to bring to them the best fiber to the home internet, and in this case for school, and to add them to our program as well. So that's another thing that we've been working with throughout the country as we seek to expand the program.
And if there are other organizations out there who feel like they'd be a good partner for you for one of your initiatives, how do they go about doing that?
Well, the application, or it's not an application, but they could send us information again online. The form is available online, or they could send us a letter to prdept@livedigi.com.
Okay. And then you assess it and see if it's something that fits right with you.
We do a weekly assessment of all different requests that we receive, and then we would provide feedback to them.
All right. Nice. All right. So anything else?
Again, we just want to encourage all those students who have graduated from Standard 6 this year to take a look at our application, take a look at what Digi has to offer with its scholarship program, and definitely apply. It's not going to hurt you. You might just be one of those 25 students who get a full funded scholarship this year.
And remember to tell your story in the back. That makes a difference, right? Feel free to open up. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in. This is an important conversation, as we know a lot of people out there are struggling and looking for opportunities for their children. So here is one more that they can take advantage of. And the deadline has just been extended to June 30th.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us today.
And with that, speaking of high school students, we're continuing our top achievers conversation, right?
Yep, and right after the break, we are going to be joined by our highest achievers from Sacred Heart College. So please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
What does live and let live mean to you?
Live and let live means that I can be a mother and have a career.
It means treating people the way you would want to be treated.
And making sure your business is accessible for all Belizeans.
It means that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It means to love your children no matter what.
It means to support people who face discrimination.
It means that men and women should be treated equally at work.
It means that everyone is able to contribute to building Belize.
It means saying no to all forms of discrimination.
It means love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, Emergency Rooms, Operating Theaters, Ambulance Services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
And we're back, and of course we are moving into our next conversation. We have been highlighting top achievers from across the country. We are now headed today out west, where we are going to be talking to the top 3 students from Sacred Heart College. We have with us on Zoom this morning Darian Cuellar Jimenez, who was the valedictorian for the 2022 class. We have Laven Marie Therese Mangar, who is the salutatorian. And we have Janelle Lucero Uc, who received the Monsignor Facundo Castillo Academic Excellence Award. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you all for waking up early on your summer vacation and joining us. How are you feeling?
Good. Tired.
All right, let's just jump into the conversation. I want to first off say congratulations on all of your achievements. And I want to give you the opportunity to talk about what your takeaway is from earning one of the top 3 spots in the school. Anybody who wants to go first?
Okay, I can go. I'd say that the takeaway isn't different from anybody else's experience studying, because everyone does their best to achieve what they can, despite having first, second, third, last place even. You do your best no matter what. At least that's what I think people should do. So the takeaway is that I got here because I did what I could to the best of my abilities. And I don't think that that puts me ahead of anybody else, because they also did their best to do what they could and to create a result that they can hopefully be proud of.
Yeah. Laven, let's go to you.
Could you please repeat the question?
I'm saying, what is your takeaway from this experience in coming in second for the graduating class?
To be honest, I think it was a really great. I'm grateful for it, but I think I have been humbled by it because, well, it truly taught me that once I work hard enough, I can achieve to where I want to be. And I would say that it was unexpected for me. I didn't really think that I would achieve the top 3, but I managed to come in second place, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
So,
what was your major?
My major was one science. It was physics and AutoCAD.
Okay. And let's go over to Janelle now. Tell us your takeaway.
I honestly really didn't expect to be in third place, but I agree with Darian that everyone did what they could to achieve what they got. And I'm really grateful to be in the top 3,
Yeah.
that all my hard work has finally paid off to be in the top 3.
Nice.
And Darian, let's talk about just what getting the valedictorian spot means to you, and did you expect it, and how hard have you been working over the years to achieve that level of success?
Well, the spot means quite a bit to me because it's a result to all the work that I put in. And at first, I didn't want to be the valedictorian because I had to do a speech. Maybe that's why my physics grade went to a B+ in third form, but that's besides the point. After a lot of mistakes, I guess, specifically in third form, which was height of COVID, I had a lot of issues with my work and my grades, but I managed to go through that. So I think that's what the valedictorian spot means to me. It's that I managed to overcome a very difficult time for me personally, rather than being stuck in that attitude that I was back then.
Yeah. So what did you, you've already delivered this speech. How'd you get yourself prepared for that, since it wasn't something you were looking forward to?
Well, family and friends.
Yeah.
I remember I finished the first draft and I immediately sent it to my mom, an English tutor, my English teacher, and my friends for them to review it, because I didn't feel comfortable with something that only I thought of. I wanted a collective mind, or a lot of people, to review my work and to see if it was okay. I have little issues with validation, at least that's what I'd like to say. So I think one night I spent about an hour with my friends just talking, trying to review the speech and changing it a lot. And then thanks to one of my English tutors, we managed to create the final speech, which I think was received well.
What was your key message?
The key message was that no matter what the difficulty is, or no matter how difficult something may be, if you work hard for it, you can always achieve it. Or you can always, it's important to always do your best no matter what the situation is.
Okay. So you got through that one. And I want to move on now to Lavan to talk a bit about being salutatorian. You said you were surprised. You weren't expecting to be in the top 3.
Honestly, I started to especially in the last semester of fourth form, I was playing around a little bit, so I didn't think that I would be able to even clinch the top 3, and then I managed to get salutatorian.
Yeah. What was your family's reaction?
To be honest, my brothers, they knew already, my older brothers. So when my parents found out, they were surprised. But yeah, my 2 older brothers knew already, which was I thought I wanted them to tell me, but they didn't tell me. So.
And what does the success mean for you personally? Because I'm sure you put in a lot of hard work to get to that spot.
Honestly, I'm just very grateful. That's all I could say. I'm very grateful. I managed to put in the work and I got the results. I got some really good results. So
let's have some real talk, right? Class of 2022 had half the year online or some kind of distance learning because we have the pandemic. What was that adjustment like?
For me, honestly, I had a really hard time adjusting because I'm a very social person, and I thought that especially the lack of socialization was very hard for me. The digital learning at first, especially in third form, I had a hard time adjusting because this was something very new to me. In all my years of schooling, I have never done online school until when I went into third form. So I had a hard time adjusting. By the time third form finished, I think I managed to have kind of understand how to use the digital platform. So when I went into fourth form, I think I managed to handle it a little better. So it was hard for me at first.
Yeah. And for you, Janelle, what was that transition like?
It was challenging to say the least because you're used to going out for school, coming back home, doing your work. But now everything is going to be online. But luckily, I had my family and my friends to help me through it. Yeah. I mean, sitting down on hours on the computer, it affects you. But I've gotten used to it over time, and I'm glad to say that I can now face the challenges of online learning if anything happens again.
So do you prefer online or in person?
I like both, but I think face-to-face has more of this hands-on experience that you get from everybody in the class. Yeah. It feels more social, and I think face-to-face has its benefits too.
Now, as a top achiever, let's look at what that is like for you. Sometimes, you do well in school naturally, but you always end up in situations where maybe one class is more challenging than you're accustomed to. Maybe you've fallen behind. I think Darian spoke of that a bit. How do you cope with keeping up with the schoolwork, especially when you're almost, you've become accustomed to constantly doing well?
When I do fail at times, it's difficult because I haven't always doing so well, and it's hard to accept that sometimes I may not be good at everything. But like I said, you have to pick yourself up again and try your hardest, try your best, and that's what I did, and it has paid off.
Yeah. And what type of motivation do you use, Darian, when you hit a wall or an obstacle in being able to get through your classes?
Well, how I would cope with it would be the problem itself. I really like solving issues, or at least problems that present themselves to me. So seeing an issue where I do bad in something, then the next time it comes by, I won't do bad in it because I have prepared for it, or I have done my best to avoid it again. At least that's what I like to do, because I think that that's the most important part about studying and learning, is that when you make a mistake, you take it, and then you do better the next time that mistake or that situation comes by. Yeah. So it doesn't happen again.
How do you adjust to online?
It wasn't that difficult for me to adjust. At least I don't think so. I'm not really the most social person, but if I am honest, I've never missed the noise of the classroom as much as I have. First and second form, my mom can attest that I would complain every day that there was way too much noise in the classroom. And then third form hit and online learning and everything's silent, and it just doesn't feel the same.
It's because they don't have a mute button in class, right?
Yeah.
Now, the experience of high school, for most people, it's a social one, but you did at least have a graduation where you could interact with people. Tell us a bit about what it was like when you finally got back with your classmates after being after doing distance learning for so long. Do you want to start, Lovin? Oh, go ahead, Darren.
Oh no, let Lovin go.
Right before graduation, we had 3 practices, and so on the first practice, we have like two big bleachers in the auditorium, and it was at the back. And like everyone just went and sat down, and like they were with like their friends, but it was like very quiet. It was so awkward. I could remember it. I could honestly felt like there was tension like with everyone, because like we haven't seen each other in almost 2 years. And then all of a sudden, all of us have to come for graduation practice. And yeah, it was awkward at first, but by the second practice, everything started like flowing smoothly. Everyone is like interacting better.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the plan for all of you as you move forward? What's the thinking in maybe studies that you want to pursue? I don't usually pressure people as young as you to tell me your career path because it's too early. But what are you inclined to so far? Go ahead, Jim. Yeah, go ahead.
Career path, I think I actually do have it slightly chosen. I want to do mechatronic engineering. And for now, I am already in a university in Anáhuac, Maya, to be able to pursue that career.
And what about you, Janelle?
Over the course of third and fourth form, I was constantly changing my career path, but now finally I have settled on one, and that is forensic pathologist.
Ooh, yeah, we need those. Is that because you watch a lot of CSI on TV?
Partly, yes. That kind of, yes, that field really interests me.
Yeah. All right, what about you, Lavin?
Well, I'm going to attend St. John's for sixth form, and majoring in music. Within like third and fourth form, I constantly was questioning myself because at first I wanted to pursue a career in civil engineering, but like throughout third and fourth form, I constantly was deciding if should I continue this career path or do I want to pursue music? Because from a very young age, I have always had music in my life. My whole family, we are all musically inclined. And so when the decision came to choose a major in sixth form, I decided I'm just going to do music. Like, honestly, that's what I wanted to do. And I decided on music. So I'm going to do music at sixth form. I'm studying music.
And what's your concentration going to be?
Well, that's the program itself, music. But there's like this applied study, and I'm probably going to do it in vocals.
Oh, well.
Because I love singing.
I'm very biased there. So I'm so.
Well, you just talked with one of your professors, right? One of your lecturers, right?
So yeah. So
but really interesting paths that you've all chosen. You know, it's. When we talk with young people, it's always a great opportunity for us to see what you're thinking, how you feel about the country as it is today, and where you see yourself fitting in the future. Darian, I think you said, what is it, Mechatronics engineering? Yeah, that's what I heard?
Yes.
Okay, so please, first of all, break that down because I have no idea what that is.
So mechatronic engineering is a mix of mechanical, electrical engineering, control, which is a type of engineering that has to do with programming, and robotics.
Okay.
But it is a main focus on more robotics than anything else.
Okay. And where did this interest come from for you?
When I'm not sure what age, I think 10. I was in Costa Rica with my mom for summer. And they offered a Lego mechatronic course. Lego have always interested me my whole life. If you ask me for a gift, I'd ask for Lego, which, I mean, makes sense. It's a pretty good investment. And my mom took me to the course, and I really liked it because the teachers were great. It's always fun to you build something, and then you think of what it's going to do. You have to plug it into a computer, you create the code for it, and then you make it do something. That's the fun part.
Yeah. And do you see, I mean, when you look at Belize itself, is it something that you see is going to be helpful in our development moving forward?
I definitely say so. It can help in a lot of things. In just development of the youth, it's very good. because it helps you with a lot of problem solving and critical thinking. And then when it comes to development, industries use a lot, well, modern industries elsewhere use a lot of robots for a lot of things. So dependent on what you want to develop in, then you can hire people to create something and then program it to generate an outcome, which I think would be very useful here, especially.
And for you, Janelle, when you talk about forensic pathology, is this also something that you see you would want to contribute back to the country as well?
Yes, after studying and getting a degree, I would like to come back here to Belize, my country, to somehow help in a way. Just want to give back to my country, to help the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And Lavin, I do have a question for you. How did the family respond when you wanted to shift majors to music?
Well, my mom was okay with it. She said, it's your life, your choice. You want to pursue it, you go ahead. My brothers were surprised because they were betting that I was going to pursue pursue my career in civil engineering. But when I told them about music, I think they were surprised. But they just accepted it because it's my life. So.
You have a lot of supportive nods over on this end.
Yeah, and so do you picture yourself, becoming a professional singer, or do you see yourself like more on the academic path? I mean, of course, it's early days. You don't have to decide now. But what are you thinking, music wise?
Honestly, I come from a family of teachers, but I don't want to teach. I don't see myself being a teacher. So maybe a part of a professional singer. Yeah. But also, I think the music industry right now in Belize is very small. So I'm hoping to come back and expand on the music industry in Belize.
Okay. So let me ask, what would you say is one of your most memorable high school experiences? Not grade academic related. Tell me something that you're going to take away from your experience at Sacred Heart College now that you've graduated. Janelle?
There were a lot of experiences where I bonded with my class. It was like a little family between all of us. And I don't have a specific memory to look back on, but I remember all the little small memories, little small details that will help me throughout my life.
And you, Darian?
A memorable, I would say, memory with my class, at least half of the class, would be with classes with Mr. Ben in the music room. They were always really interesting, to say the least. And I say half the class because we were split between art and music.
Okay. And you're not going to give us a bit more you're not going to the school anymore. You could tell us why it was interesting.
Well, Mr. Ben is an interesting character. He's always been a great guy. At least he would put me to do a lot of things. He would put you to sing in front of the class even though you didn't like to. He'd put you to, I opened my mouth on the first day and said that I know how to play guitar, so he put me to play guitar in front of the whole class. It's always just a new thing every day. That's very fun to do.
All right. And for you, Lavin?
Honestly, there were a lot of experiences I had within my high school years. In first form, there was this servant leadership conference that all the class leaders would go to. I would say that was probably a good memory I had. But in terms of with my class, there were too many memories that we had for me to just pick one.
Okay. Nice. All right. So you get to take a break for summer, I imagine, right? Everybody?
Yeah.
That does not sound convincing, but nonetheless, we did want to take the opportunity to say congratulations to you and your entire graduating class. It's such a milestone achievement, and we appreciate you joining us this morning and telling us just a bit about your stories and your journey to the top. Thank you all.
Thank you too for inviting us.
All right. Is there
Thank you.
anybody you want to say thank you to before we close off? I know usually there's a big support team behind each graduate. Let's start with you, Darian. Who do you want to say thank you to?
Well, I'd like to give a thanks to all my teachers who were there for me throughout the years. My dedicated music teacher outside of school, Mr. Yelvis, my parents especially, and my close friends.
Okay. And moving down, Lavin, who do you want to say thank you to?
First of all, I like to thank God. I thank my parents, my siblings, my family, my teachers, and my friends.
All right. And Janelle, that's just you left.
I would like to thank my family and my family who's watching this. All my teachers that helped me throughout my academic journey, my friends, and God, yes.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you get some downtime during the summer. Thank you once again for waking up early and joining us. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Gavin, you'll tell us
About some trending topics. So,
that's right.
please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And we're back. And if you're joining us right now, we are just about to get our show wrapped up. But before we do, it is Tuesday. So that means it is time for some trending talks. And that's where I give you a breakdown of some of the biggest social media trends that people have been talking about over the past week or so. So today we are going to be starting off with some sports news. And if you're a basketball fan, you'll know that the finals were recently concluded last week, Thursday, when the Golden State Warriors won the finals championship for the NBA. And of course, that was in a Game 6 against the Boston Celtics. And it was the fourth championship for the Golden State Warriors. And as you can see from the screen, that this was against some of the initial predictions, which really had the Celtics winning. And as you can see that some ESPN put it as low as that they had a 14% chance, but they managed to turn it around after losing the first two games and bringing the victory home while they were abroad. And of course, we also saw after the championships, because they were in Boston when they did win, we saw the parade when they did return back to California, and we saw some images of, everybody knows Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and the rest of the team. So if you are a Golden State fan, I'm sure you had a great time for the past couple of days. And if you are a Celtics fan, then it hasn't been that happy. But of course, that was the biggest sporting news coming out over the past few days. So I did want to mention it. And of course, we've got lots of Golden State fans. I know I've got several friends who were very happy with the results from last week. So that's the first topic that we're going to talk about. Secondly, turning to music news, a lot of people have been speaking on social media about some new music that has been released. Last week, Drake surprised everybody with releasing a new album called Honestly Nevermind. And it is super interesting because it's a break so far from what everybody's been saying, and I've listened to it myself. It's an interesting album, and it's a bit of a different direction. We know that Drake likes to change things up. He likes to, experiment with different musical styles and different cultures from around the world. This album is interesting because it is a lot of house and electronic music based. So and he's singing a lot more than he is rapping. So it's a different flow, different flavor. Some people are liking it. The album is receiving mixed reviews, but of course it is the summer, so everybody's looking to drop some new music. And Drake, of course, was taking advantage of that and surprised everybody. And people are seeming that they're going to enjoy it. And it's definitely an album for partying and lounging. So maybe you can expect to hear a lot of the new Drake. And additionally, last night, Beyonce surprised everybody by dropping a new single. And of course, she also made waves over the past few days because she did announce that she's going to be dropping a new album called Renaissance. We're not sure when the full album is going to drop, but she made a lot of headlines because at midnight last night she dropped a new single. And interestingly, it's just like Drake, it's also going in the electronic house dance. So that seems like that's gonna be a trend for the music industry in general this year, especially as we get the summer kicked off. So Beyonce fans, if you had Tidal, the streaming service, you got to hear the song 3 hours before everybody else. And I was seeing all of that while I was on social media last night. While I was checking my Twitter and Instagram, I saw everybody talking about Beyonce. And of course, we are going to be waiting for the full album to drop. We don't know when that's going to be. And finally, in our trending talks, turning to a social media trend which was completely viral over the past few days. You may have heard about it as well, and it's a serious story, but it's the circumstances, if true, are pretty extraordinary, and it involves an elephant. And you may have seen, and as you can see from the headline abroad, this story went viral. We don't know what happened, but it apparently in India, a woman was attacked, and unfortunately she did lose her life because she was killed by this elephant. But what happened afterwards is what made more viral, is because the woman after she was killed, she was going to the funeral, and the same elephant seems to have come back, found her funeral, and trampled her body again, disrupting the funeral process. And there are even reports that the elephant came back, found where the lady's house was, and destroyed the house as well. So everybody is really buzzing, because we were wondering, what is this? Is this some sort of revenge, or something that happened? And of course, you don't want to make light of somebody's death, but of course the circumstances are extremely extraordinary, and the story has gone viral. People have been talking all about this elephant, and as we know, the saying is the elephant never forgets. So whatever it is that this elephant didn't forget, she definitely seems like they had an axe to grind. And so everybody was talking about this super viral story. If you haven't read about it, just Google it. If you just type in elephant, you're going to see a bunch of stories pop up. But of course, I wanted to talk about it just because it was such a big social media viral topic of discussion over the past few days. And
Lord, me too, I gotta say that much. I love the faces around here, but it's like, is that true? Is that true? It absolutely is. I saw that one as well. I mean, obviously a tragic story, but still the fact that it came back. I didn't know the part with the house though.
Oh yeah, it was like a saga that kept building, like every time I would check the trends.
That's some, yeah. What do you say? Elephants have a, don't forget?
Yep.
Okay, so clearly something happened there.
Happened, yeah.
And I did hear the two new songs, well, pieces of it, Drake and Beyonce, definitely that dance theme. People are reacting so well to it.
Oh yeah, for sure, because it's got a completely new direction, but we'll see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks.
I think for people who like all types of music, they're going to enjoy it nonetheless, to hear them in a new style. But thank you so much for letting us know what's trending. And we also want to thank all our guests today. Of course, we got the opportunity to hear directly from UNOPS about the recent donation to the Ministry of Health. They acquired quite a bit of medical equipment. I think for me, Gavin, the key thing is that all the right processes were executed to ensure that we got the best quality, and also things that will be able to help our Ministry of Health keep up healthcare across the country.
Yes, absolutely. And our second conversation, we were speaking with Digi about their scholarship program, which is a super important program that has assisted several families over the year. They are still taking applications, and so if you are, if you're just graduating high school, or if you have a family member who's graduating primary school, looking to enter high school, it is a full 4-year scholarship. So you can go to your nearest Digi store or go online and try to fill out an application if you're interested.
Yeah, and remember, you know, it is an opportunity for you to get the tuition and fees covered for high school for 4 years. And we do encourage you, of course, that deadline is extended to June 30th. And then we also want to thank our top achievers from Sacred Heart College. You know, we've talked to students from the South, from the North, now from the West. And, you know, it's a great time to at least give them a space to feel proud of their achievement.
Yes, absolutely. So we want to say congrats to them once again, and we wish them all the luck in the future as they start, you know, whether it's more schooling or entering the workforce.
Mm-hmm. All right, but that's all the time we have for today. We do have one more thing. We have a birthday shout out for this morning, and we are saying happy birthday to Louis Tessicum. Louis, we hope you have a great day from all of us here at Channel 5, and open your eyes. Remember Remember, if you want to send a birthday greeting or if you want to get in touch with us, just send an email to oye@channel5belize.com.
You can find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and Instagram at OIE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.